So if you guys have been following this channel for any length of time and implementing the stuff that I actually teach on this channel, then you are no doubt scoring a lot of first dates. But then this begs the question, when you're racking up all these first dates, what do you do on the first date? How do you prepare? Where do you take them? And above all, how do you convert the maximum quantity of these first dates into, how shall we say, happy, successful endings at the end of the night, if you get what I'm trying to insinuate? So the number one thing is you don't want to get flaked. And actually, flake meaning like the girl cancels, right? You don't want to be flaked on. You don't want to have the girl cancel the plans at the very last minute. And I actually put together a 3 guide that goes over everything, like so many techniques that virtually makes flaking impossible, like almost like 100% chance that the girl will show up on the date. Just go to my Instagram, which is RedbeardRants1, and DM me the word flake, F-L-A-K-E, and I'll send you that free video. But one of the things that I talk about in that video, which I'm going to say here, is suggest a very nice venue. Okay, I'm not saying you have to spend all your money on these hoes. You have to go to necessarily the most expensive place in your city, but at least if you're anything like me, and I hope you are like me in this regard, is that you're dating extremely high-quality women, and these women are in demand. They're getting hit up by high-value, cool guys, rich guys, and they're getting very, very good offers. So if you're trying to do the ice cream frozen yogurt date, the coffee date, the cheap picnic, and the park date, you're going to get flaked on a lot more than if you suggest a really nice venue, a really nice rooftop lounge at a nice hotel, a prominent restaurant in the city. Again, you don't have to spend all your money on these hoes. They don't necessarily deserve it for the first date. But if you don't want to get flaked on and left alone on a Friday night, number one, DM me the word flake on Instagram. Second of all, suggest a nice place. And you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because we'll obviously come very well dressed, come very well groomed, trim the neck hairs on the beard, have, no funky eyebrows sticking out, your hair, done in the way you like, and dressed well as well. And then what you can do with the girls, actually, I'm, still recording, but I'm just going to show you real quick. Bring this guy with you, right? This is my my life hack, my biggest life hack in the world. It's a little cheap. It's called, go to Amazon and type in LED clip-on phone light and just get any one you want. I like the Neewer brand, Neewer, N-N-E-E-W-E-R, but it doesn't matter. They're all the same. They all come from the same mold from China, right? Bring that. You'll get amazing lighting at nighttime, no matter where you take her. It's like $30 for this, by the way, fits in your pocket. She will love it. When you whip that out, she'll be like, oh my gosh, I think it's the coolest thing ever. She'll, naturally go into her like photo shoot mode. And then you can have her take photos of you. Actually, the photos that I'm putting on the screen right now were actually photos from first dates with women, or maybe not the first date, second or third, but the point is women took these photos of me at some point on a date, first, second, or third date, and these photos turned out to be some of my best photos. When I go to the website where women rank my photos, these photos actually turned out to be some of the highest. So I not only got to have an amazing interaction with a beautiful woman at a beautiful venue, but I also got amazing photos. And if you've been following my channel, you guys know a few, like 6 or 7 or 8 amazing photos where you look high status, amazing, good looking, fun lifestyle, interesting, exciting. That can change your life. That goes from 3 or 4 matches a week to 3 or 4 matches a day, or responses to your DMs, whatever it may be, right? A lot more leads. The next thing, when you get to this nice restaurant, this nice rooftop lounge or whatever, you want to sit 90 degrees to her, right? If you're sitting across from her, that's cool. You can make direct eye contact. It's very easy to make direct eye contact. You can get a little touchy and feel her hands across the table. If that's your only option, that's fine. There's no problem. But you want to get in a place where you can kind of be touchy with her. You want to be kind of like caressing her a little bit all night. If you're sitting next to her, that's cool. But the thing that I find is like, it's a bit awkward to talk to somebody next to you. I feel like I'm constantly like cranky. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I'm just like constantly like, I literally feel like my neck is like sore from like facing, like turning it hard this direction. Whereas if you're 90 degrees from her and like, you guys can just picture this in your brain, right? Like I don't know how to draw that with my hands, but like you're not across from each other. You're not next to her, but like she's like seated here and you're like, at the corner, 90 degrees to her. And like I said, this allows you to get physical from the get-go, and eye contact is easy. So this is my favorite seated position and pretty easy to do in most restaurants. Now, a lot of you guys are super playboys, confident, extroverted, and that's cool. But everybody gets a little bit nervous before a big date. Listen, if you don't get a little bit nervous with a girl that meets, all your high standards, she meets your physical beauty standards, maybe, she's super intelligent, she's actually, in touch with her femininity, lo and behold. whatever it is, her age, she's bisexual if you're into that. You already know she has all these amazing qualities and you're not getting a little bit nervous before the date. Something's wrong with you because you're not valuing, that woman. And anything that's, of great value to us, that we care about an outcome, it's natural to get nervous. So let's talk about preparing for the first date so you don't get nervous. You want to have 2 or 3 things prepared, right? Your first thing is your fun, interesting, flirtatious, sexy, getting to know you questions. I wrote some down here, that's why I'm looking down on my phone. One of them is tell me a secret or something interesting about you that not a lot of people know. So when you say it's a secret, right, it almost implies like maybe there's something a little bit taboo about it. Maybe there's something wild about that. And it's just kind of like a great way to get her to open up. And by her, kind of revealing a secret about you, it's going to create a little bit of intimacy. And, it's kind of like now something that not a lot of people know. And it just kind of, I don't know, it's like you're a little bit more intimate for her sharing that. And I just think it's kind of a juicy question. I mean, think about it. Like if something's a secret or it's something like, interesting, she may want to talk about it. It's just kind of, it gets the juices, the conversational juices flowing. The next question that I like to go to is, what's the most adventurous thing you've done, ever, or what's the most adventurous thing you've done recently? So one of my earliest mentors in the game, Todd V, great channel, Todd V Dating. Check out this guy's channel when you're done with this one. Amazing dating coach. What he taught me is that certain topics, even on the surface, if they don't seem like they're related to, sex, attraction, they actually are. So I don't like tattoos, but, tattoos, drugs, partying, these things, partying isn't necessarily related to sex. Tattoos, drugs, going out, whatever. But they err on the side of like, being, sexual topics more so than like playing pool or the fact that she has a book club, I don't know, like these random things, the weather. Music is a good topic as well, but I'm just saying, music doesn't necessarily create the same sexual spark as like maybe her talking about, something adventurous. She went skinny dipping in a pool one time. That's the most adventurous thing she ever did. It primes the brain for more sexual topics. And then the last one, I always like to talk about this, and I do this somewhat over texting always, but if you didn't do it over texting or if you want to expand on it more, is what type of guy that she's into, what characteristics she likes in a guy. They'll just literally give you their blueprint, and you can just play to that strength, not in a fake, inauthentic way, but you can highlight certain aspects of your personality that might be more in alignment with that. And a great one that I like, which is on the same pattern as that, the same style, is I say, complete this sentence. If a guy does blank, if a guy does, oh my God, that's like the sexiest thing ever. And the girl will literally, tell you this information. This is an example of this is something I asked before a first date, and she told me, I really like it when a guy buys me flowers. I thought that was kind of a simpy thing to do, but I just did it anyway. And 2 hours later after our date, I brought her flowers. So she said she likes flowers. I brought her the flowers, and 2 or 3 hours later, she was swallowing my children. So that's an example of something I asked, before the first date, but even on the first date. What I'm just saying is you get useful information, I don't know. Not all dates need to end in like the most successful, sweaty cardio type fashion ever. There's more reserved girls that will just, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, maybe because they value you, maybe it's, your fault because they put you on such a pedestal. They don't want to seem slutty or easy to you. So they're going to make you wait. Whereas like a lower value guy that might just say, well, I'll just do it on the first night with him, but whatever, whether she makes you wait, 2 or 3 nights, that's fine. So if you get some information like, oh, I really like a guy, is like a gentleman to me, right? Or really like when a guy, doesn't move things too quickly. Cool. That maybe you would fuck it up by trying to, get her home or not even get her home, but just, trying to like, again, end the night successfully, if you know what I'm trying to say, on the first night. Now, another thing too, when you're doing these questions, and again, you ask boring questions like, tell me, you should probably know what she does or her job or what she's studying. But, expand on that, her family, where she's from, her hometown, what music she likes. These quote unquote like standard run of the mill getting to know you questions, these like boring questions, those are fine too, but don't interview her. So if she says, for example, oh, I like guys that are, obviously they got to be taller than me. And, I like guys that are really respectful and attentive and like remember things about me. Okay, cool. Next question. Like, well, what do you mean by like attentive? What would be an example of that? Like maybe, for instance, you mentioned casually, your favorite food is, chicken parmesan, right? You like Italian food and chicken parm's your favorite meal. And then, on the second or third date, maybe that guy buys all the ingredients and he cooks it for you at his house. Would that be a good example of what you meant by, a guy who's attentive and, detallado, like detailed. I guess, what would that mean in English? I don't know. I date in Portuguese and Spanish, so I don't know these words. I forget English. What's English? But anyway, point being is you're not interviewing her, right? You're not going from question to question to question to question. You ask a question, you stay on that conversational topic. Maybe you let that branch out to like little micro questions, like, I don't know, like I can't think of an example, but like if you're on the, the topic, like little quick micro questions, clarification things, but you want to stay on that topic and free associate based on, the information you got from that. Another thing you might want to have, again, this is if you're nervous, right? If you're, thinking about what am I going to say? I want to make sure the conversation doesn't run dry, is you can have some of your most high value stories like at the ready. Maybe you're practicing these stories in the mirror. You're kind of like saying them. You're focusing on your timing and the punchline and your delivery and making it, concise and not, including too many boring details, but just getting to the point. I have this really cool story about how, I'm not going to tell the story now, but how I basically sneaked, whatever the past tense of the word to sneak is, past the security at the airport one time during like this COVID time. So they had this horrible, stupid rule about how you had to like show proof that you got like the medicine. And I actually, whatever. Point being is, it's a funny story. It's a cool story that makes me look like a bad boy, maybe makes me look really intelligent, the way I maneuvered my way past security, even without per se the proper documentation for that, right? And the way I can like throw that story in there is I can ask something about travel, right? When we start talking about travel, that is a very normal question. You can just say out of the blue, so Tiffany, tell me, like, do you like to travel? What's your favorite travel destinations? What countries, call your attention? And that's a very normal question. It doesn't feel like out of the blue, like I just, inserted that question. It's a very normal thing you would ask somebody on a first date. And now when we're on the subject of travel, I can throw that story in there as well. I also have a high value story that I've shared, on the Fresh and Fit podcast and numerous times about how like taxi drivers have tried to scam me and overcharge me, and how I, stand up to these bitch ass motherfuckers and don't let them scam me and only pay them the fair rate, because this ain't the fucking gringo to get one over on. And I, let's say you're talking about, I don't know, how would I throw my taxi story? And you're talking about how, she likes going to the gym, right? So you can say, yeah, that reminds me, I was coming back from the gym one time and this taxi, blah, 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 right? But there's like a way to throw it in there that doesn't seem contrived. The next thing you can have prepared is a couple fun games, right? So a fun one is 2 truths and a lie. Basically, you tell her, hey, let's play a fun game. This is, help us get to know each other better. It's called 2 truths and a lie. If she's an American girl, she's probably heard of it. If she's not American, we have to teach it to her. But the premise of the game is you say 3 things, 2 of them are true, 1 of them is a lie, and she has to guess out of the 3 which one is the lie. And have very interesting things ready to go. Write them down in your phone and, review them right before, or even pull them out, when you're on the date. You can even pretend like you're checking a text message or something like that if you don't want to show that you're like researching this, beforehand because you wrote it down. And this will be a cool way for you to kind of, I don't know, throw in high value things about you, kind of brag or whatever it is, demonstrate higher value, as would be called in the pickup artist thing, but it's in the form of a cool game. And if you have some interesting thing, she'll be like, oh, that super interesting, cool thing you did, that's the lie. Oh, really? That one's the truth? The other 2 things were a lie, etc. And, it's a great way to get to know her and, get her to share, get information out of her. Another funny game that I like to do, and only do this if you're, pretty confident, if you're a cool guy and you wouldn't be creepy doing this, is I like to say, like, let's have a staring contest, right? This allows me to kind of dominate her before actually, like, actually dominating her when we're alone, right? Because I can kind of dominate her with my eye contact. I've never lost a staring contest with a girl. Basically, you say, yeah, we're just going to stare into each other's eyes, and the first person to look away, laugh, or blink loses. And I just kind of go like that, right? Like maybe even felt the gayness when I was, doing the eye contact with you. But I have like this little smirk. I'm just kind of like, just like that. Do you feel the gayness right now? Sorry for that. Pause. But anyway, you get my point. It's like showing her like, oh shit, like this guy ain't fucking around. Like this is kind of like, a man's man, as it were, right? Again, it's like the pre-domination before you get to the bedroom. I find that raises the sexual tension a lot. And you can even be kind of like holding hands or like, something silly like a thumb war or something like that. And as you're being, touchy-feely, I do like to check the box and get a little bit of a kiss at some point on the first date. You don't want to be the makeout guy all night. That will diffuse the sexual tension. Now, a country like Brazil where girls just like love to kiss, Maybe not. Maybe you can make out quite a bit on the date and it won't diffuse the sexual tension. But I don't recommend doing it too much anyway, at least in most places outside of Brazil. And a good litmus test for going in for the first kiss is, again, girls in Latin America typically don't know what an Eskimo kiss is. So I'll be like, hey, let me teach you something from my culture. Have you heard of a, Eskimo kiss? Beso Esquimal, or in Portuguese it would be beijo esquimal. Or, if this is America and they probably heard of that, you can just say, hey, have you heard of an Eskimo kiss? Yeah, you're something about your nose is so cute and adorable. Now, she has kind of like a big nose. You may think she'll be insecure about it. Maybe don't mention that, but you get my point. Go in for a little Eskimo kiss and be like, yeah, the only rule, as I remind you of an Eskimo kiss, is that the lips don't touch. And get in really close, do it really, really sensually. Oh, by the way, if you don't know what an Eskimo kiss is, it's like, I'm Eskimo kissing myself. It's when the noses rub together. So I didn't define that. So if you got some foreign countries maybe don't know, it's like my nose, her nose. We just kind of do this, rub our noses together, but the lips don't touch. Again, creates a super big spark. I've had girls that they can't handle the tension. And as we do the Eskimo kiss, they just pull me in for like the real kiss. And it's a great way to do the tension. So the tension being the sexual tension, right? So speaking of sexual tension, I really want to read her energy when you're going for the pull, when you're going to bring her back, right? So if you're super touchy and you just know by the way she's been texting you, she's been responsive, she's been very thoughtful in her responses, and she just, you can tell when a girl's really, really into you. I might just say, hey, we're going to get out of here a little bit. We're going to go back to my place and I'm going to give you a massage. I'm actually really good at, doing massages. She knows what's going to happen, after the massage, but it's like, oh, we're going for the massage. It's kind of like my excuse. And this comes with experience. Again, if you're nervous or if that's way too much or if you have no idea how to give a massage. By the way, how do you learn how to give a massage? Go get a couple massages, spend a month in Thailand and get a cheap massage every day, or just, go get a massage, once or twice in a local place where you live. First of all, that they're relaxing, they feel great, they relieve, tension and knots you have. But from getting a massage, you will then know how to give a massage. Just copy what they do. And it's really hard to fuck up. You just get some coconut oil. I've even used fucking avocado oil from my kitchen, but any type of oil. First of all, they got to, strip almost naked. They got to be wearing just, a thong for this. Otherwise they'd get oil over their clothing, and just like massage them and touch them firmly, but not, too hard. It's really not rocket science. I'm sure there's a YouTube tutorial on that. You could also say, come back to my place. We'll sip some wine on my balcony. Again, it's pretty obvious, the vibe, the mood you're setting, what's likely to take place after drinking wine together on your balcony. I don't really like to tiptoe this around, too much. Now, if you're not getting that vibe that she's, fully ready for a pull, or you want to play it safer, or she's playing this kind of like, I'm going to be super conservative because I don't want you to think of me as easy and I want to be your girlfriend and I'm going to, play the part of the good girl tonight and make you wait second or third date. That's fine. That's almost cute and endearing in a way, right? I don't need to have, sex on the first night every single time, right? But what you can do is you like a bridge location, right? So if you're at some restaurant, you go from the restaurant to a nice like rooftop bar or just a normal bar. Or maybe there's like a public area, like a park. It's well lit. It's safe at night to walk through. Maybe you walk through this like nice, park at night or something like that. This nice area. There's a boardwalk. There's a pier, something like that. Those can be great. Also, like after a big meal, it's nice to walk around. You might say, hey, listen, that was such a big meal. Let's go for a walk a little bit. I know this like really cool park, don't worry. It's well lit. It's safe, or this, this rooftop lounge. Hey, it's just down the street, or a quick, ride. Go to this, rooftop, lounge, have a quick drink. It also depends how much money you want to spend, how much, the girl's worth it or whatnot. And the next thing is when you actually get her back to your place. And you can suggest a movie. You can suggest just, let's just talk there. It's more intimate, one-on-one. What I even used to do with girls is say like, again, if they're playing that conservative role, if you want to be kind of a bit more of a challenger, you can say, hey, yeah, let's go back to my place. But just so you know, I'm not easy. Don't try, no funny business. I got work early. We're just going to, talk and hang out a little bit. And then, of course, it can make things happen. I have a lot of girls be like, oh, challenge accepted. And then they end up, being the one that escalates on me just because I kept the tension and made it a little bit of, a challenge for her by saying, oh, no funny business when we get back there. We're just going to, chat a little bit. You can play a fun, card game. You can play a drinking game. There's a lot of ways that you can, entertain her and stuff like that. But speaking of, getting her back to your place, you got to have that shit clean. You got to have it ready for a pull. It's got to be smelling nice. Make sure you took out your garbage. There's no rotten, chicken that you threw out in the garbage can. Your room is clean. Your bed sheets are clean. There's no hair from the previous girl that was over there. Girls fucking shed, especially all the Latin girls I date with their long, hair, especially because I may do certain things that would accelerate hair loss to them, that it can look like you had like a werewolf in your apartment. Like I've had girls leave and I'm like, holy shit, I'm looking at the floor. Looks like Chewbacca is my roommate. Get all the hairs from the previous girls. No condom wrappers or condoms at the top of the thing. Little trick, whenever you throw out a condom, either right when you throw it out or later on, wrap it in a paper towel or something first, or put it at the bottom of the trash can. So it's not like, I don't know, maybe she spits her gum out or she wants to throw something away. She looks in the trash can and, oh, there's like a condom at the top of the trash can. So none of that. Clean, smelling nice. There's flattering lighting. So, some of these Airbnbs and stuff like that, or, you stay at what low IQ people do, which have like a bright, like white fluorescent or just like a white LED light bulb that has this piercing, like hospital light. Try to get, warm lighting, a salt rock lamp, something, a red light bulb, a red spectrum of light, some type of dim lighting. Have, the lighting, planned out. Even some of the most beautiful, drop dead gorgeous girls can be insecure about taking their clothes off and they just prefer dim lighting. So err on that side. Have music ready to go. Don't have like, a playlist called like sexy, blah, 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 sexy vibes or, sex music or, playlist, something like that. Just, if you name your playlist, just call it, I don't know, like, good vibes, relaxing vibes, nighttime vibes, something like that. There's a lot of pre-made playlists. It doesn't have to be like, bow chicka bow wow. You can do something like, I like electronic music, 90s rock, something, kind of calm and soothing. I wouldn't put on, your heavy death metal or, gangster rap for this occasion. And the main thing in all of this that I want you guys to remember is none of this shit that I'm even saying about, have your apartment ready or, be well groomed or go out with your light to get photos. None of, the conversational topics if you're getting flaked on. So if you're getting flaked on a lot, remember, I have like a full guide that basically guarantees 100% you will have a date on your Friday or Saturday night, okay? Go to my Instagram, RedbeardRants1, DM me the word flake. I will send you my free guide so you don't get flaked. This was my first date guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. That is the end of the video. Peace.